Saturday. This is Marlene Motivates, and I am your life coach. Welcome to today's topic. We're going to be live for probably about 10 minutes. It's a busy Saturday for me, but today's topic is prove it to yourself. When somebody kind of doesn't believe in you, or someone doubts you, or you're going through a situation, whatever the case may be, today's topic is prove it to yourself. If we are not fully convinced of our power, if we're not convinced of our worth, nobody else will. You have to prove it to yourself that you not only deserve to be here, you deserve to have your life, you deserve to love yourself. You are the one that has to make that choice to say, I choose me, and I choose me every day. Every day I wake up, I choose to look at myself and say, I'm enough. Every day I wake up and I choose to say, I'm worth it. Every day, you have to make the choice to choose yourself and prove it to yourself that you're capable of having good things, of having good thoughts, of doing great things, and even saying it to yourself, I'm talented. Prove that to yourself. You don't need to convince anybody of your potential. You don't need to convince anybody of your worth. The only person that you need to prove it to is you. And many of us may get in that circle, that cycle of feeling that we need to prove who we are. You need to prove that you're beautiful. You need to prove that you're capable. You need to prove that you have the ability. No, prove it to yourself. And it's very important to do this because it's linked with your self-esteem. It's linked with your well-being, having positive mental health. There's so many things that is involved with us being our best and loving ourselves. So I just wanted to give you all some encouragement and say, prove it to yourself. Don't give up when the odds are against you, and especially don't give up when people are against you. There's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people who will doubt you. But I wanted to say this to every single one of you. Prove it to yourself that you're capable. Prove it to yourself that you have the ability, that you can make changes. If there's something that you want to fix inside of yourself, work on you. Heal your inner child. Work on being a better woman or a better man. Be a better parent, a better sister, a better husband, a better wife, a better friend, a better coworker. Just be a better human being. You know, life is set up and people are set up to judge you so easily. I think everybody makes mistakes. There's not one perfect person, but so many people will judge you based on who you were and not who you are. And that's the important thing. It's not about who you were, it's about who you are today and who you're allowing yourself to be when your back is against the wall, when you have problems, when you have situations, when you're going through something financially, when you have some health problems, or when whatever you're dealing with some sort of obstacle. How will you react? Hey, realist, how are you? Welcome. Happy Saturday to everybody. How will you react when the odds seem to be against you? You know, the easiest thing when you are having a struggle or when you have to face a fear is to run away or to doubt yourself or to blame somebody. That's the easiest fallback, is to blame somebody else for our own personal problems. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to cap. I'm not that type of person. I'm a very transparent person, and I want to say that to everybody. Don't doubt yourself when you are struggling. Don't doubt yourself in the challenging times. This is when you need to work on your own confidence. This is when you need to work on your accountability. Okay? Be accountable for yourself as a woman or as a man. It's not anybody else's responsibility to convince you that you are a bright light, that you can do great things. It's nice to have supporters. It's nice to have people to love you. It's nice to have all of these things in life, but it has to start with you. You have to make that decision that every day I wake up, I'm going to be great. Every day I'm going to believe in myself. Every day I'm going to be confident. Every day I'm going to be positive. Now, I'll tell you something. This life is full of so many problems that it's not easy. It's a huge obstacle to overcome when maybe your mental health is not in a good position. I know many are going through, the cold weather and dealing with those feelings that you get from the seasonal depression or things like that. It's a struggle, it's an obstacle, but don't let what is happening around you cause you to doubt yourself or to think, I'm foolish, I'm stupid, I can't do anything, my life is awful. We are what we convince ourselves. And if you convince yourself that you're not capable, if you tell yourself I'm stupid, if you tell yourself this is hard, you will believe whatever you tell yourself. That is the narrative. So that's why I always talk about how important it is to have positive self talk and talk to yourself the way you deserve to be talked to, the way you deserve to be treated. You train others how you need to be treated. First, you have to treat yourself in a respectful manner. First, you have to know that you're worth it. First, you have to know that you're deserving and capable before others can give you back that same energy, vibration, all of those things. So, I just wanted to say that to anybody who is struggling or going through something. And I know for myself, when I'm in that space of, self-doubt, I'm allowing the outside to get inside of me. I'm allowing other people's projections or insecurities to get to me. I have to reel back. I have to reel back into myself and go inside of myself and say, even if other people don't like me, don't respect me, don't support me, talk about me behind my back, I still have me. And I say that to all of my motivators family. Even if everybody turns against you, you always have yourself. Be your own best friend. I talk about this all the time. Even if people don't like you, even if people are jealous or hating on you or have things that they make up, because people make up lies about you for no reason at all. You're not even bothering people. All you are doing is being yourself. But when people are in dark spaces or they're very miserable or unhappy, they want to make you feel unhappy. Don't let the outside go inside of you and bring down your light, bring down your vibration, bring down your peace of mind, or even cause you to doubt yourself, to feel like you don't deserve great things. Because I definitely came from that space of not being told of my potential, my worth, and that I can get through things and to not give up. So I want to give that back to somebody who may be going through the same situation, maybe doubting themselves. Maybe there's a challenge or something that you're facing right now at this current moment. Whatever challenge it is that you're facing, remember it's up to us to pull ourselves out of that situation. And that's why mindset shifting is so important. until you believe in yourself, until you make a decision that I'm going to be positive regardless of what's happening to me, regardless of my financial situation, regardless of my health, regardless of who supports me. That's one of the things that we have to prove to ourselves. Prove it to yourself that you have the ability. Prove to yourself that you're talented. Prove to yourself that you're loved. Prove to yourself that you're intelligent and that you can get through anything. You can. You can get through anything if you want to. See, the problem for most of us is we'll be in this space of having an attitude or feeling that people have to support us or have to do things for us. And nobody has to do anything for us. We have that expectations, and that's what lets us down. That can be a huge letdown when you're expecting for somebody to support you and love you and pour into you and be good to you or kind to you, and they don't. It is very discouraging. I won't even say that. But we're the ones that have to pour into ourselves. It's our job to love ourselves. It's our job to be our own best friend. It's our job to do all the work that we need to be happy or to change our life. If something's not happening right in our life, it's up to us to make choices and changes to have that better life. So I just wanted to come on and give you some Saturday morning motivation and to say this to everybody and to pour into you. Remember, you got to pour into yourself, fill up your own cup, put on your oxygen mask, take your breaks for your mental health, for your physical well-being. Go for your walks or whatever you do that helps you to become restorative. Being restored is so important, for your energy, for your peace of mind, for your just your overall well-being. We cannot be well if we're not thinking well and we're not taking care of ourselves. Prove those things to yourself, that no matter what, the odds against you, the naysayers, the doubters, the problems, or even ourself, because I don't know about you all, but sometimes I can be my own worst critic. I can put myself down. And we'll be so nice and kind and patient to others, but we will not apply that same patience, that same compassion, that same everything that you apply to other human beings. Will be so free to forgive others. We'll be so free to be patient and listening, but we won't apply that to our own self. Good morning, Sirius. How are you doing? We won't apply that same patience, that same compassion, that same love, that same understanding to ourself. That self-compassion is so important, motivators family. Be compassionate to yourself. You know, we all go through things. Maybe you're going through a situation right now. Give yourself some loving kindness, some compassion, some patience. Apply that love to yourself. Maybe now it's your time to heal. It could be your time to learn something. It could be your season of telling yourself, I can do it. Teaching your own self to be confident, teaching your own self to be strong, teaching your own self that it's time for me to be courageous. It's time for me to do whatever it is that I've been hesitating on doing. And why that's important is we cannot have longevity in whatever it is that we're trying to get through if we're waiting for other people to give us that validation. That's why I always say validate yourself. Prove that to yourself. I don't need anybody. You want others, but remember, you always have yourself. And remember, you always have your higher power to whatever it is that you believe in to support you spiritually. Don't forget that. When you're going through situations, don't forget to lean on faith, to lean on the people who really pour into you as well, and thank them. Many times we'll be so busy saying, God help me, or to our friends that do things for us, we just, sometimes take them for granted. We'll take God for granted. We'll take friends for granted. We'll take relatives for granted. You'll take a person you're in a relationship with for granted. You take even your good health. Don't take anything for granted. Okay? Yes. Blessed and highly favored. Serious. Thank you so much. We'll take so many things for granted. We'll take people for granted, but we will also take our own mental health. Mental health is something that we each need to put in some work into guarding that. Guard your mental health. Do not let other people disrupt your mental health by their drama or their mental illness or their anger or their projections and their fears and their insecurities. Prove that to yourself that you deserve to have your breaks. You deserve to love yourself, and real love, not just people will talk about, I'm in love. You may be in love with them, but are they in love with you? That's a question to ask if you're in a romantic relationship, because I can't tell you. The wool has been pulled over my eyes as well. You can think you're in love. They're in love with you because you're in love with them. It's a game that's played sometimes. You can be the only person in a romantic relationship. You can be the only one doing the right thing. You could be the one checking on and being good to the person, and the other person is taking you for granted, very disrespectful. So we got to check those things. We have to check it, okay, if I am loving them, but is it being, are they paying it forward? Are they reciprocating it? Are they respecting you? Are they giving you what you need in your love language? And that applies to romantic relationships, but it also applies to your relative. It applies to friends. It applies to other people. Respect is so important. And one thing that I didn't understand as an adult, as a woman, that I have to respect myself first. I'm the one that has to set the boundaries. And if I'm unhappy about something, I have to speak up and to tell people how I feel, what I'm going through. Don't think that if people know you for a long time, they know the things that you're thinking of, the things that irritate you or grind your gears. You have to tell people. You train people how to treat you. You train people how to treat you. And if you don't speak up for yourself, people won't know. And I was definitely that person that I didn't like confrontation. I didn't want to hurt people's feelings, but all at the same time, they don't care how you feel. They're being disrespectful. They're being rude. So these are some of the conversations that I want you all to think about, later on today, maybe in a private solo moment, that you take some time to reflect. Am I being loved the way that I deserve? Am I being friended like I give my friendship? Am I getting transparency and not just honesty? And we're going to cover that transparency versus honesty on Monday. But I did want to say this to everybody, that we definitely have to love ourselves. We're the ones that have to respect ourselves. We have to be secure in our own self, that even if somebody else doesn't want to give you something, isn't giving you something, you have to fill up and restore your own self. And that means being cognizant of your mental health, being paying attention to, like, something's not right in my body, and making sure you go and see your doctor and take care of yourself, and you're getting rest and eating well. These are the things that we have to prove it to yourself. Not just pouring into others, but learning that it's okay to pour into me. I'm enough. I'm worth it. I deserve to be taken care of. I deserve to be loved on, because I'm my own best friend. I love her. And you should be saying that about yourself. I love him or I love her. And because of that, I'm willing to make sacrifices to take care of me. Okay? If the answer is no, move on. Exactly, serious. Realist says you got to stand your ground. You got to. Don't let people run over you. And people will make it seem like you're the guilty party. You're crazy or something because they're not doing the right thing. Have you all ever been through a situation like that? People will make it like you're the party that's wrong when all it is they can't control you. They can't manipulate you, or you exposed their character flaws, you expose their evilness or their drama or whatever, and they're not willing to face it, to make changes, to be mature, to be accountable, all of those things. So, yeah. So I just Reala says no. Sirius says you have to achieve a balance between internal and external validation. You do. And I think that is very important to this podcast discussion today, is finding that balance, that while we want external validation, it's not the most important, and we have to stop giving that so much power, so much light, so much importance in our life. Remember to validate yourself. And remember, every day you wake up, God validates you. God has chosen you for a reason and a purpose. Has a purpose for every single one of us for different reasons. I want you all to understand that and know that. And remember, when other people leave you, God never leaves you. He's there for you. Reach out, pray, meditate, but do your best. These are one of the things that we have to talk about, the inner reflection. That's what I like to do on Saturdays because it's a little slower, and you have your more quiet moments to think, even though, Saturdays are busy and you're trying to do all of the things that you did not do during the week. But make sure you take some time on this Saturday for a few moments for yourself of reflection. And these are the times I like to think about myself. How did I treat myself this week? What can I do to love myself better? And all of those things. Remember how important you are, okay? Remember that you have the power, you have the light, you have promises that you need to fulfill, and that you're more than enough. Even if other people don't think you're more than enough, remember that not everybody is going to be your cup of tea. You don't need to have other people to validate you. You need to validate yourself. And remember, God validates you. Every day you wake up, He makes a choice to say, you're enough because you're my child. Okay? Remember, remember that you're loved. Remember that you're enough. And these are the things that we need to prove it to ourselves in our times of reflection, your solo time, your self-care time. Pour into yourself. Give yourself some compassion, whatever it is that you need, whether it's sleep, whether it's shifting, how you're eating, what you're consuming from the external. And remember to have that positive self-talk and remind yourself, I'm enough. I can do great things. I believe in myself. I'm loved. I'm important. I have some things to do in this world, okay? Remember that, okay? Yes, Sirius, a compelling argument. Yes, definitely, realist. Yes, if we don't put ourselves first, nobody else will. And that's the thing about most relationships, realists, and everybody in the chat or anybody in the replay. If you don't put yourself first, you will burn out yourself. And I have seen it working in healthcare. I have seen people empty their complete self, giving 20, 30, 40 years to a job, giving 20 years to a marriage, 20 plus years to kids, to friends, to all of these things that is outside of them. And what do they get at the end of the day? You know, they just turn their back on them. They really don't care. They're just there to use you. And it happens with relatives too. You cannot expect for people to only support you because you do something for them. It needs to be reciprocated. Okay? You deserve for somebody to do something for you. You deserve for somebody to check on you and do something nice or to give you accolades. It shouldn't just be you, but if you find that you're the only one pouring in and they're not pouring out and they're not pouring into you, this is the time where you need to sever ties, sever relationships. There's a lot of toxicity in this world. And unfortunately, sometimes that toxicity can be within your own relatives, within your own children or spouse, significant other, within a friend, quote unquote. So that's the reason for the times of self reflection. Like on Saturdays, I like to make sure Saturdays is my time to reflect. How am I treating myself? Am I respecting boundaries? Am I enforcing boundaries? Am I taking care of myself? Am I eating well? How is my mental health? These are the questions that you need to ask yourself, okay? And I want you all to think about this on this Saturday. Just taking a few minutes to tap in with my Motivators family and say, I hope you are well. I hope you're treating yourself well. I hope you're setting boundaries and enforcing them. I hope you remember that you are loved. I hope you remember that God loves you and you are enough. Thank you so much for tapping in with this podcast conversation that I like to do on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for coming in. Shout out to all my amazing mods, realists, serious, and though they may not be in here, the Garden of Inspiration, Boss Life Online, Nate the Great Podcast, Miss Nexie. I'm trying to think of some. Oh, James Wilson. So you guys don't have to be here for me to shout you out. Oh, Jill's Comfort Zone, Cola, Marlene Music Channel. Shout out to all of my mods. Oh, Goddess D of Love. Thank you guys so much, all of you, for your support. If I missed any of you, it's charge it to my head and not my heart. I thank you all so much for your support. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Love yourself and remember that you are more than enough. I'm Marlene Motivates. I am your life coach. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. Yes, serious. You're not putting yourself last. Nobody put yourself last. Put yourself first. And remember, put that in a balance. Remember that God is there for you. Check in with Him. He loves you. Bye bye, everybody.